So I'll give you a little bit of history here, a little background information, whether you want to hear it or not. I grew up in and around the automobile business. My father worked in it his entire life before he retired and passed on. My middle brother ended up buying the dealership that my dad worked for all those years. My oldest brother, Ron, owned a Gulf gas station for a number of years, quite a few years. I was the only black sheep of the family that didn't stay in the automobile business. I went on to other things, construction and corporate life and the whole 9 yards. But because of that, I grew up around all these automobiles. I have a great love for old cars. I've traded old cars, bought and sold, fixed them up. I've got an old truck out in the driveway now, a 65 Chevy C10 that I hope to finish up someday. My dad blessed me with the skills and the trade to be able to fix stuff like that, so I'm very blessed, and we'll do that. But this particular item is going to mean a real lot to me. My oldest brother, Ron, owned this gas station for a number of years. Things changed as they always do. He had to give up the Gulf portion of the business, but he kept the shop and did all the repairs on cars and trucks. Well, my brother Ron passed at a very early age. He was only 67 years old. That really hits home with me. I'm now only 68. But great guy, super guy. Love him, miss him very, very much. And Ronnie, my nephew, obviously is his son. So when I got talking to little Ron here not too long ago, the subject came up, and he said that he had something he wanted to send me. So he sent this down to me, and it's going to mean a real, real lot to me because it was in my brother's Gulf station. So we're going to fix it up, clean it all up, and display it in my shop. It's an old original Gulf sign. This thing it's got to be well over 50 years old, I'm sure, at least. So we're going to fix it up, clean it up, put a new light fixture in the inside of it, and hang it on the shop. It's going to mean a real lot, especially because it came from my brother Ron, and being shared with me by his son, little Ron. So it means a real lot. Ronnie's been gone now for 9 years. It's coming up on his 9th anniversary of his death. So I figured what I would do is get this all put together and hang it in the shop, kind of as a tribute to him, and it means a real lot. So come on along, let's fix this up, show you what it's going to look like when it's all done. While cleaning this up, I found something really kind of cool. The actual date is on here, 1981. So I was wrong about it being 50 years. It's just exactly 40 years. 81, 21. So still nice and old. But they still made things really great back then. As you can see, I've just hit this with some polishing compound. I'll be able to polish this right back up to its original white color. Just going to take a little bit of elbow grease. We'll get there. Okay. A little bit of elbow grease to got all the discoloration of the old golden plastic off. Got it back to a nice bright white again. Okay, there's quite a bit of corrosion on this aluminum. This is all old aluminum, and it's got some pitting and everything on it. I don't want to take too much of it off because I want to leave the original patina so it still looks old, but I want to just try to clean it up a little bit. I've got 150 grit sandpaper. We're going to just kind of buff out any of the corrosion that we see and try to get it down to a nice smooth finish. You can see that some of the corrosion. Aluminum has a tendency to have a white corrosion that gets on it over time. So I just want to get that off, and then what we'll do is we'll probably clear coat it. Okay, now that we've got it all cleaned up, we're going to put the new lamp on the inside. My nephew had taken out the old fluorescent bulb that was in here, had an old-fashioned ballast, huge old mechanism in here. Today with the modern LEDs, you don't really need to do anything like that. So I went to the hardware store and I bought a little porcelain socket. I got a nice little tube LED bulb, and for me, I'm going to just put a regular plug on it for now. So what I'm going to do is, I noticed in this particular case that there are a couple of holes that are right here on the bottom already. One of them is relatively close to the back, so I'm going to just remount this hole to get it to the right size to fit around the cord. I'm going to, somewhere in all my junk, I've got a little grommet that I might be able to slide up over top of this to protect this in the hole. I'll have to see if I can find it. Now what we're going to need to do is drill that hole out to accommodate that. Make sure that this slides up on here first. Get that back out of the way. It's WD-40. Make my life a little bit easier with some WD-40. Get this to go on there. Oh yeah. Perfect. Yeah, see, that slides right on there, so what we'll be able to do is protect the opening with that. Okay. Now, let's see if we can figure out what size hole that is. I've got some step bits here. I've already put it on the drill. There we go. Perfect. So what we'll do is we'll add a little more WD-40 to the cord. So we can drag it through. I'm only going to want a few feet hanging off of this for now. Yeah, that's about how much I'm going to want to have hanging out. That'll be perfect for me. It will even be UL approved. Now that that's all set, I've got a porcelain socket that I got. So what we're going to do is wire the porcelain socket on here. We'll mount the porcelain socket here in the middle of the fixture, and then I've got this little tubular LED that will mount in it as well. So first thing we need to do is get some connectors on this cord. I think I've got some heat shrink ring connectors that we can use. Let me see what I've got here. Take the little ring terminal and put that on here after we've put it on the wire and heat shrunk it. Okay, we'll cut 3 little pieces of heat shrink tubing. And we'll slide those up on each one of these. Now these terminals are also heat shrink, so we should have a pretty good fitting on each one. Slides on there perfectly. What we'll do is trim off some of that excess because I don't think we need that much. We don't. We only need about that much. Each one. There we go. Okay. Okay. All set. Now we'll install it on the socket. So obviously your hot, your neutral, and your ground, black, white, green. So the hot always goes on the gold terminal, which represents the inside terminal for the bulb. Okay. Now we'll put on the neutral. And then we'll put the ground on when we put that on the mounted on the box. Little bolt, lock washer, and nut. So what we'll do is we'll put the flat end of the screw bolt through the back side so we don't have any protrusion. This. And then we should be able to slide that over the bolt. Put it on the ground, put on the lock washer, and put on the nut. There we go. Okay, that's good and tight. Now that we've got this all mounted, what we're going to do is put a little mounting block on the back here so we can hold this wire in place here. Put one there like that, and then we'll put another one down over here, and all these are nothing but little zip tie mounting blocks. So we can put one down over here. All right. So now we can just loop this through here. That'll hold that in place perfectly there. can keep this cord long. I can always change my mind by just opening it back up again and putting more cord out if I need to. There we go. Just cut off the excess. Okay, that's it. Should be able to screw the bulb in now. Time to put it back together. You know, I was thinking while I was doing this, one of the great things about doing this is that I know my brother Ron would have had the skill set to do this. A very talented guy, great automobile mechanic, very, very mechanically inclined. So he would have been able to do this himself. And I've always loved anything old and having to do with cars. And I think it's a great tribute to be able to have something like this in my barn. That's a tribute to my oldest brother Ron. Having that golf station, I know, meant a real lot to him. And now whenever I go antiquing, I'm always looking for golf stuff. It's just one of those things. That's it. Let's see how she looks lit up. Oh yeah, that's gonna look great in the barn. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, really appreciate it. Great tribute to my oldest brother Ron. Exactly 9 years ago today he passed. God sent him a message to come and he went. Great guy, miss him dearly. I know his family does. This is also a tribute to his son Ron, who gave me the sign. So I really do appreciate it. God bless you all. Take care. Stop back and see us when you get a chance.